Welcome to the Jackson Downer Podcast, episode 1. We are just going to do a little intro, a little what this podcast is going to be consisting of, and what you can expect. I know that I had spoken briefly with a good amount of you about possibly doing a podcast and, just kind of having it be me talking to you. Because, of course, we have the Jackson Downer Reads podcast. However, that is very structured, regimented, and is purely me just reading. A new episode is a new chapter in whatever book that we're reading that season. This season is Dracula. But I wanted to be able to give you guys something that was completely unstructured, unregimented, no rules, and was purely just me talking to you in a free-form sort of way. It's something that I've really wanted to do, and I've been thinking about doing for a while, but it's also something that you guys have expressed interest in. So here we are in episode 1. So what we can expect from this podcast is most of the time just me talking to you about what, you might ask. Well, I'm glad you asked, because I will be talking to you about, really anything that I'm interested in. Things like science, philosophy, music, all of the things that are kind of within my wheelhouse of knowledge, history, things like that. But also, it will be a place where I can share personal stories and lessons I've learned, things like this. As many of you might know, we have a live stream that we do pretty frequently as long as I have the time. And during those live streams, that gives us a good place for you guys to ask me your questions. And so where the conversation goes and what the topics spoken about are is completely guided by the live stream audience. Whereas here on the podcast, it will be completely led by myself, and I will be speaking about whatever I would specifically like to speak about that episode, that day. I would also love to and plan to occasionally have podcast guests on as well. This would be the place for that. We will see where that goes. I have nothing planned on that side of things as far as guests go, but just know that this is in my mind for the future. So yeah, I just kind of wanted it to be a place where whether you're on your way to work or you're exercising or making dinner, whatever it might be, you can have a place to come and listen to whatever I wanted to talk about that episode or that day. But yeah, I'm really excited and really looking forward to this because honestly, this is the most free-form and relaxed type of content that I will have ever done so far. So today, on episode 1, I just kind of wanted to go over those things, talk about what you can expect, and just do a quick intro. If you don't know who I am Jackson. I am Jackson Downer. I do many things. I'm a musician. In addition to that, I have studied extensively in the philosophy field, the neuroscience field, and the health sciences fields. So these are the things that I really genuinely love to talk about and learn about constantly. I also love to read. So when it comes to books and reading, I love to read nonfiction, and I also love to read fiction. And when it comes to fiction, my favorite 2 genres are classics and fantasy. The book I'm currently reading right now is Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson, which is a modern fantasy series, actually. This is book 3, I believe. It's been a blur. I've been reading nothing but Brandon Sanderson until I finish pretty much all of his books. I'm like that because like certain fantasy authors set different series of different books in the same universe. And that's sort of the situation that's going on here, is that even though I've read multiple different series that are sort of unrelated, they are related in the way that they are tied together because he has written them within the same interconnected universe. In Brandon Sanderson's case, this is called the Cosmere. So that is, anyways, a glimpse into literature side of things. Of course, also we are actively reading during our reading live streams Dracula. And if you ever miss an episode of the live stream, that there is a dedicated podcast for that called Jackson Downer Reads, as I mentioned earlier. Also, I love to exercise, and I love exercise, health, and nutrition. Huge parts of my life. I mean, that pretty much sums up my primary interests, passions, and skill sets. When it comes to music, I am a multi-instrumentalist and a vocalist. And all of the music that you ever hear from me is always tracked, mixed, and mastered by me. So it's not just the instruments and the performance side of things and the songwriting that I do, it's also all of that studio work as well. And honestly, at this point, it's really hard to say what genres I work within. I would say one of those genres is pop, punk, and metal, and the other is sort of alternative hip-hop is what I would call it, and the third genre is a mix of the two. So anyways, that is a brief introduction from me. And also, another thing that I meant to say earlier when I was speaking about what to expect from the podcast, I wanted to say that I will also be doing Q&As on the podcast. So that will be fun. I think maybe I will do a monthly Q&A episode on this podcast for any of you guys throughout all of my social medias to ask your questions and have them answered in one place right here. So yeah, I am extremely excited to embark on this podcast and see where it takes us. You guys are along for the ride with me. There's an endless amount of things that I am excited to talk to you guys about, and I hope that you enjoy it. Today, for episode 1, it's, kind of just an intro and just letting you guys know what to expect. But in episode 2, we will jump straight into things. This podcast will be just like Jackson Downer Reads. It will be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else that you can get a podcast. So I will wrap it up here. I mean, I think that was a sufficient introduction and what to expect sort of episode there. And we will pick it back up on episode 2, where we jump straight into real conversation. Much love to you all, and I will see you in the next one.